Hello everyone, my name is Xinyu Shi. Today, I'll be introducing the topic of memories and histories of Naples. Imagine a city where ancient Greek ruins lie buried beneath its surface, medieval church bells echo through its streets, and today's clothes hang out to dry beside Baroque palaces. This city is Naples, a city whose history isn't a thing of the past, but a living, breathing present. In many urban studies, history is often viewed as a stable, official, and linear narrative, while memory is seen as fragmented, emotional, and unstructured fragments. But in Naples, history has never been forgotten, and memory is not an appendage of history. Instead, through literature, spatial, and visual narratives, it interplays with history and together shapes the imagination of Naples. After visiting Naples, the German thinker Benjamin coined a unique term to describe the city, porous city. He points out that Naples is not a solid, enclosed city, but rather a place where the private and the public interpenetrate. Balconies, courtyards, cities, doorways, stairways, and rooftops function simultaneously as stages and boxes. This porosity is present not only in the morphological features of buildings and streets, but also in Naples' cultural fabric, suggesting that there is no absolute separation between the city's history and memory, but rather a constant interpenetration. Let's examine the specific ways in which memory and history interpenetrate. In a pair of eyeglasses, the author eschews the grand framework of post-war history, instead employing a heavy, operative, yet poetic language to recreate the poverty of post-war Naples. At the end of the story, the little girl picked up the empty glasses frame without lenses. It was not a symbol in the history textbook, but a symbol. Through it, one can see the difficulties and helplessness of the family after the war. The novel's narrative, like porous stone, allows details, gaps, and everyday fragments to slip through, presenting to later generations life experiences that cannot be covered by official narratives. This not only supplements history, but also examines, through literary means, what history has omitted. Similarly, The Day Before Happiness recounts childhood in post-war Naples. The author doesn't focus on political events, but rather, through the journey of an unnamed boy through the city, transforms the sensory experience of the city into a daily politics of memory. These plots fill in the gaps of historical narratives. This interplay between memory and history also occurs within the urban space of Naples. The Cimitero degli Fontanello is a public cemetery nestled in a rocky cavern, where the remains of approximately 40,000 unidentified victims of the Great Plague of 1656 and the cholera of 1836 are deposited. Official Naples historical records may describe these disasters with only a few brief lines of information, but when one actually enters this place and encounters the rows of skulls and skeletons, the impact can evoke memories of Naples' historical catastrophes. Unknowingly participating in the reproduction of memory, this spatial memory not only fills gaps in historical narratives, but also, through emotional and sensory channels, brings the past back into the present public consciousness, making it part of Napoleon collective identity. Film also participates in the mutual shaping of memory and history in Naples. Mario Marton's L'Amour Modesto tells the story of Delia's return to Naples after her mother's death. Marton's film doesn't explicitly depict historical events, but rather through the presentation of spatial atmosphere and individual traumatic memories. It offers a profound supplement to a period in Naples' collective history pressed by patriarchal culture, outdated norms, and economic hardship. Delia's journey through damp apartments and unfamiliar hallways in Naples evokes her personal memories while also reflecting the repression and violence of collective history. The film's visual and the narrative allows history and memory to interrelate and reinforce each other in its image. Thus, Naples' cultural landscape is not a product of single-sided historical formation, but rather a process of emergence through the constant interweaving and mutual verification of history and memory. The story provides temporal framework and structure, while memory, through literature, images, and spatial practices, injects detail and emotion in this ongoing interaction. The urban imagination of Naples is constantly renewed, enriched, and challenged. And this is my reference list, and thank you for your watching.